You, it's your man MAS, back with another one, Solo Leveling episode 7, alright? Your man Sung is getting a big head. When I say big head, I mean like he turning down 30 mil. 30 mil. Now you tell me the kind of personality that Sung is turning to, he's like that jerk at school. He's the dude that got abs. He's any negative connotation that you can think of, right? That is now Sung. Sung now thinks he's the shit. Granted, he is the shit. But if you're a human being, you never like those individuals who feel like they're bigger than life. Like they're the main character and everybody should kind of fall in line. Like in reality, we typically hate those kind of personalities. But in episode 7, Sung shows his ass. All right, when I say he shows his ass, he definitely feels like the world revolves around him. And the fact that he turned down 30 mil, because I was wrong. Sung was the guy who, no matter what, I felt he had his priorities straight. Episode 7, nah. Episode 7, you can kind of see the shift in his mentality where he's more concerned about his leveling up abilities more so than, providing for his family. And the first point of that is 30 mil. People might have different opinions about it, but yeah, Sung is now big-headed. The Sung that you saw in episode 1 is definitely not the same one that you see right now. All right. The way the episode kind of opens up, Sung has now killed a human being. All right. So everybody kind of goes through those trials and tribulations of, I'm not saying about you, right? I feel like most people, if you ever killed another human being, I've never done it, but I'm assuming it weighs heavy on your conscience. All right. So with Sung, he killed his first human and he's kind of thinking about it. But at the same time, because he's big-headed, he's like, yo, they deserved it. He's that kind of dude now. He's that kind of individual. What happened to the humble son? The son that cared about people. This son is I'm not saying I say this son doesn't care about people, but he's that jerk. He's that jerk that all throughout your life. That is Sung now. He's not humble. He's braggadocious. I won't say quite braggadocious, but he just don't care. And I mean, he super healthy. Granted, the system kind of makes him super healthy, but making fun of individuals, telling his sister you would get fat if you keep eating that. If I was her, I was like, you was eating that 2 weeks ago. What did you talk? He's that dude now. Okay. And they kind of replay the aspects of him learning, how the system works. All right. So I'm going to dive into the show notes. All right. So, here's the thing, right? It's funny because in my show notes, I was like, yo, Sung still has his priorities straight. No matter what's happening, no matter how big-headed he gets, his priorities is still about providing for his family and being just there for them. All of this is for them. Right. So that's why I kind of noted in the previous reaction videos that I had, no matter what, Sung knows what his purpose is in this show, and it's to provide for his family, being the man of the house. This episode kind of proved differently, where I'm it's not so much that, and he is kind of more focused on his abilities and leveling up, how that works versus providing for a family. So in the beginning of my show notes, I was like, no, he still has priorities straight because he's still thinking about, his mom and his sister. But you kind of see a shift in his mentality. And, it kind of starts with the system. The system is kind of, when I say the system, the screens. All right. So the screens, I'm going to just call it the system, right? Kind of dictates what he's doing, essentially. Meaning the screen told him to kill the people. He killed the people. The screen is telling him you can't be drinking. He's not drinking. So maybe the argument is hey, the system, the screens are making him into a jerk. He's not naturally a jerk. But, pretty much the screens is his personal trainer, right? If you had a forced personal trainer, maybe that makes more sense. Because in reality, if you want to, live a healthier life and stuff like that, if you want to turn to Sung, you can just hire a personal trainer. The issue is most people don't follow the personal trainer guidelines to a T, right? So if you follow the personal trainer guidelines to a T, most times you'll look like a Chad, you'll look like a queen, you'll you'll get the results you want for the most part if you really get a professional trainer that knows what they're doing, right? The issue with most people is that they don't have the drive, meaning like they don't stick to the diet, they don't stick to the workouts, and then they complain when they don't get results. I would know. I've been in this world for quite some time in terms of just personal fitness. If you stick with it, especially with somebody who knows what they're doing, you're going to get results, all right? But with him, like the screens are essentially that versus you don't have an option. So with most people, you have an option if you want to hire them or not. If you want to follow the plan or not, like you can quit at any time, you know, free of penalties, all that stuff. With him, he's kind of stuck with the system because I feel like if he kind of refuses anything, the system puts him in a situation where he essentially is about to die. So he does have a choice. So the screens will tell him you can't be drinking. The screens will tell him you can't be eating like unhealthy food. If you are, you better be doing hella push-ups, hella sit-ups, hella running. All right, you didn't see my fingers. Hella push-ups, hella sit-ups, hella running. So it's like, it's basically his guidance to how, like the system is cultivating him to be this super chat. The system is cultivating him to be this jerk. And it's doing it in like baby steps. You know, it's kind of like the Pavlov experiment where like he's turning into this person through the system and the system is doing it through steps. It's not like, boom, you do this and you're that chat automatically. Not like, you could tell from like maybe episode 3 when the system comes to play, like it's slowly acclimating him to like be this person that now is a super jerk. All right. So he's that person now. And then I think the dude, the kid from the dungeon, comes to him with the offer. And I guess like the kid is trying to like, I think his father or something like that is trying to have his own guild. So he's been there with Sung. He's trying to recruit Sung, right? He's like, yo, I know his secret. Meaning like he's an E rank, but he's clearly an A rank. I need this dude on my team. I got the money. And this is what I mean, he doesn't have his priorities straight. If the show is about you providing for your family, Sung, right? Even if, like, yeah, you know that you can get more money because of your leveling up ability, but if the what are our priorities? What are we doing here? All right, you're doing this for your family. If you have an opportunity to do it for your family, you put your family above your abilities. I feel like he put his abilities above his family. He clearly said it when the dude offered him the 30 mil, a cold 30 mil. Is that going to be the section now? Like, hey, what would you do or would it do for 30 mil? Be real with yourselves, all right? For 30 mil, you will probably take it. The most average person will probably say, well, average person plays the lottery. So we taking 30 mil, all right? Granted, Sung knows his self-worth. So he's like, yo, this solo ability, like this leveling up ability is probably way more than the 30 mil. I could like, so that's his mentality, right? Which he's not wrong. But I'm saying like, if your priorities is your family, like the leveling up ability isn't going anywhere. Support your family, and then like you can focus on the leveling up ability. That's my opinion. I feel like that's not what happened. What happened was he declined the 30 mil at first, because then he's like, yo, I could probably make way more for my leveling ability. And you can kind of see the shift in like he's more focused in his leveling ability to the point that like the kid kind of had to coerce him with like, and I'll keep your ability a secret. I mean, yo, that's a bold dude. Because Sung looked at him like with the same eyes he looked at the dudes that he killed. It's like, yo, I'm about to murk you for saying that. And I mean, don't be saying no foolishness around me. All right, that's how he looked, and I was kind of scared for the kid. But my assumption, they didn't really detail it in the episode, but my assumption is that Sung took the deal because he wants his thing to be kept a secret. I don't think he wants to be killing any more people. All right, like I said, I've never experienced that. I've never been a police officer, a gang member. I've never killed another human being. I'm assuming it weighs heavy on your conscience. If you have killed another human being, feel free to comment below. Is it easy? Is it hard? I'm not condoning it, but actually don't comment that. I don't need, just don't do it. All right, we don't condone killing people. They do in the show, but not, that's a cartoon. All right, moving on. So he does the daily trainings and he's getting, I think he did above the daily training requirement. So he gets the secret ability, right? Or now I won't say secret ability, the secret key. All right. So the key lets him go into a S rank dungeon. And here's how I know he's big headed. He's thinking, oh, easy. I'm going to do this S rank dungeon because I'm a new man. I'm a different person. I could do anything I want. He's that dude. And he kind of does it off of the guise of like his his mom that's in a magical coma, right? We'll just put magical coma. But this dungeon supposedly in the Demon King's castle, there's always a Demon King, has the cure for anything, all right? Go figure, right? So, like I said, in the beginning of my show notes, I'm like, he still has purge there. He's doing it for, like his family. So it's like, yo, this is the best way for me to cure my mom's coma. Because, I mean, I understand the argument, even if he does accept the 30 mil, it's not like they actually found the cure for it. I could be wrong, because maybe they did find a cure for it, and he just doesn't have the money to do it. So they kind of put her like in a stable state until he comes up with the money. But like 30 mil can probably, I won't say save his mama, put her in a more better situation, but this whole thing is a cure. All right, so this secret dungeon is like a whole cure. So yeah, I get it. Like you want to do the whole cure. It's kind of like he could knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. So one, I could level up to a crazy, because I think I have to be honest, that's his priority now. All he cares about is leveling up, and a partial about his mom and his family. Like, yeah, I could level up and at the same time find a cure for my family. So the screens is kind of guiding him to that. Like I said, the screens are kind of like pulling the strings, if it really makes sense. So he's like, he does it, gets his ass whooped. Yeah, he gets beat up crazy. So that kind of, and I love that about the show. Like when he enters the dungeon, there's still a discrepancy in power level. And shows have to do that, right? As you're watching shows, I don't think it's as enjoyable if the character is OP and they're wiping the floor with everything. It's not entertaining. Like, what is there to watch? Like, we love, the audience, the viewers tend to love a really good underdog story. So they love a comeback story. It's not fun when the character is OP and they're like washing the floor with everything. Like, the thing that makes most shows bearable when it comes to like these OP characters is that, okay, they're OP, other people don't know they're OP, and they kind of hide their OP abilities, and they do certain things throughout the show to kind of highlight how OP they are while using like a fraction of their power. So that's what most people kind of get off on. Sung used all his powers to try to fight this Cerberus dog, the dog before he even gets into the gate. All right, so that's to help you, the viewer, watch. Like, hey, like there's still discrepancy despite how strong and big-headed Sung feels. He still ain't shit in this Elden Ring world. He basically, again, fought another Elden Ring boss and almost died. The only issue is there's no reset button compared to an Elden Ring. In Elden Ring, if you die, you could just reset and play again. In this world of hunters, there's no reset button, I would imagine. Maybe there is. Maybe he has a reward that lets him reset. I wouldn't be surprised. But from what I can tell, there is no reset ability. So if he dies from the Cerberus, he dies from the Cerberus. So he's big-headed. He tries to fight it. His stuff isn't working. The Cerberus uses rage ability. I'm assuming like Berserk. He's going Berserk mode. And he's trying to survive. You can see his HP. I would have been out. He tries to use the teleport stone. Smacks the teleport stone away. Nah. Like that's what the Cerberus dog did. So Sung starts hiding. Like the same guy that was big-headed is now hiding, right? And he's trying to survive. I'm glad they didn't do a flashback. So, because most times, when somebody's about to go crazy is when they do a flashback in most animes. But flashback didn't happen. He just kind of collects himself as like, I need to survive. And then something that's been saving him is the screens again. Like all these rewards that he's been collecting, he's now kind of using his inventory to kind of sustain himself in the battle. Like that's not really being highlighted enough. Because that's what happened in the previous battle with the spider. All right, he technically lost. Granted, God tier mode Sung was activated, but barely, because he had to use I think a potion to bring back his fatigue. Because he was fatigued, he had no movement points, he had no action points. So he had to use the potion to bring it back. So he's not incorporating that a lot more in battles. The battles that he's more OP. I'm curious to see if he's actually going to try to utilize that in these like PvP battles when he's going against other hunters, because it's going to happen. And if he's allowed to do that. Right, but maybe he'll be so overpowered by then that it wouldn't even matter, right? So he uses a potion and he's able to restore himself just enough until the rage ability, the berserk ability from the Cerberus dies down. And then he goes ham. Like what, 1 HP? Not really 1 HP, but if you ever play Pokemon, like the 1 HP, your Pokemon survives with 1 HP, and you're like, yo, you gotta be so nice Because at this point, it gotta be evasion, it gotta be dodging. You cannot get hit. If you get hit, you are done. So that's where Sung is at, where it's like he needs to hang on. He's in the Cerberus mouth. He needs to hang on. Gets his like little dagger blade thingy bajig. It's like bang, 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 bang on the. I was like, bang. I was like, sounds like I'm fist pump. That's him. Him in the Cerberus eye. But more aggressive. He's like, that he did it, but more aggressive, and he ends up killing the Cerberus. I think like 3 or 4 level ups. I mean, I don't think it was worth 3 or 4 level ups. My life is not worth 3 or 4 level ups. But like I said, Sung is a different person now. He's conceited, right? That's what happens. Like, yo, like, you know when you're about to turn into a conceited person when you start getting mad attention from the opposite sex. Like, the jerk just like comes out. So in the beginning of the episode, I feel like that's what was happening. Like, other women were falling over him. Like, all right, he's about to turn into a jerk. I've been there. I know that reaction. But, you know, I feel like the battle kind of humbled him, and it kind of gave him a really good idea of like, all right, I think he could just come back to this dungeon because he has the key, and that because he has such a hard time with the gatekeeper, the Cerberus dog, that should kind of give him an idea of the difficulty that lies ahead. But it's still a good gauge of like where he's at and where he needs to get to in order to supposedly get the magical items to save his mom from the coma. Like, I'm telling you, that's what they're like saying. Like, that's the mission now, essentially. But like, I don't know. I just feel like by the time that happens, he's going to be such a different person. Or it might give him an ultimatum of like, all right, you could get this, or you can get this and be even more powerful. So it's like the old saying, power corrupts, right? So I think that's what's happening to Sung. And he's not the same innocent boy that I saw in episode 1. What happened to my boy? Right? Who is this man that I just do not recognize, even the bass in his voice? But that's where we're at. I mean, there's one tidbit where the dude that he killed, his older brother, or I think, no, it's technically younger brother, which I called, if you saw my last reaction video of episode 6, I was like, yo, that's probably the dude's brother, probably wants to get revenge, think he's good. Like, I don't think that's anything interesting because, you know, Sung is going to wipe the floor with him. Like, let's be honest, he's going to wipe the floor with him. They might make it a good fight, but Sung's going to wipe the floor with him, all right? I'm more interested about Sung's priorities and his decision-making as things move forward. Like I said, I feel like he's becoming more of a jerk. But we'll see. Maybe the next episode he gets a little humble. We'll see. But that's my reaction of Solo Leveling episode 7. All right. Who turns down 30 mil? No one. But he does. I'm out.